Welcome to another episode of Ada's Diaries, doing research in Nigeria. Um, yeah, I just came back from work, so just please don't mind me. I kind of look a bit stressed out. Okay. So today I wanted to talk about interviews. I realized I said I was going to talk to you guys about the interview process and doing interviews here in Nigeria and how that can get a bit iffy. But I also decided I was going to include talking about the audio tape and the audio recorders and things like that. So, interviews, yeah. Okay, so my last video, I was talking to you about how interviews can be sometimes interrupted and, turn into focus groups and things like that, particularly doing the interviews here in the teaching hospital. Okay, so something I wanted to try to do, actually, I was doing it in the UK, is another form of interviews, which is a telephone interview, doing telephone interviews, and it was pretty easy to get that done over in the UK. I had obviously I see the patients, and usually when as I said before, the patients come 10 to 15 minutes before their appointments, or 20 minutes, thereabouts, I can actually have the interviews done at that time. However, if say they come about 2 minutes or 5 minutes before their scheduled appointment time, then of course I can't have the interviews done at that point, and so we have to schedule a telephone interview as opposed to asking them to go home and come back another time again. So it's a lot easier to just schedule a telephone interview. They write it in their diary, we have an appointment, we have a designated time for the appointment, a day of the week, of their own convenience. Everything is pretty much done to the patient's convenience. We set a time and a date, and it always goes smoothly, like they're expecting the call. Now, in Nigeria, it's not so easy. I wanted to see if I could try to get a telephone interview done. I'm not quite sure. People will definitely be thinking, what on earth is wrong with this girl? Why would she be thinking about that kind of thing? But yeah, I thought about, there's no light. That's another thing. There's no light. So it's actually quite hot in the room now. So if you see me doing this, just know it's because the heat is real. Okay, so yeah, I decided to try and get a telephone interview scheduled. I did that for, of course, it's research, trial and error. You have to keep that in mind. It can't always go according to plan. So, scheduled the telephone interview with this particular lady. Said she was in a rush. She didn't have the time to sit down and talk to me. Gave me her phone number. Gave me a time that was most convenient for her. Which was dinner time, I guess. And I thought everything was good and great. Okay, so it's time for the interview, and then I call her, and we start talking, and then in the middle of the conversation, like she was talking, and the next thing she goes, Bimbo, check that rice on fire, or check it on fire, you must not burn, no, that's it, that's not burn, no, I beg. And I'm like, okay. Then she says, researcher, what did they talk again, Seth? Then she continues talking. And then I'm guessing Bimbo now replies saying, wait till you talk, Mama, wait till you talk. And then she goes again, I see me that rice no burn for fire, that rice I put for fire, make it no burn, no. Yeah. I was obviously just stunned. And then I wasn't quite sure if I was going to put that as an interruption or, what was I going to do at that point in time? But I realized that Nigerian, and this didn't happen just once. This happened like a lot of times as we were talking. But I realized also that when Nigerians say it's convenient for them, it's convenient because they're probably not doing much at the time. Doesn't mean that they're idle. So she's definitely, obviously, her mind is in two places. She's thinking about the rice she's put on fire. She's talking to Bimbo or somebody else, but she's on the phone with me. And then she's trying to recollect her thoughts again and her research at what they talk. But she was the one doing the talking. So it gets a bit problematic. And after that experience, I realized I wasn't going to be doing telephone interviews again. I just decided to stick to my regular, interviews at the clinic. So another thing I was talking about, I think in a previous video as well, about the audio recorder and any recording device at all you have. Something I realized is I don't think Nigerians like to be recorded. Like, as much as we like showbiz and we like entertainment and we like, the pizzazz of stardom and things like that, we don't particularly like to be recorded. Or I guess the average Nigerian doesn't like to be recorded. So, you start the interviews. Of course, you've got to consent them to audio record the interview before you start. And one lady, I just said, okay, so would you, she's agreed to participate and everything. And then I bring up, and she signed the consent form, which actually says that you're consenting for this to be audio taped. I bring out the audio recorder and I keep it like on the desk quite close to her and everything. And she just goes, what's it be this? And I'm looking at her like, it's an audio recorder. I can't write as fast as you talk, so I'm going to need to record it. And you already signed the consent form for me to be able to do this. And she goes, no. What's be confidentiality then? If they talk confidentiality, they talk confidentiality. Excuse me, my pidgin is quite horrible, but then I'm trying to mimic them as much as I can. And she says, confidentiality. I better go, man, I know they do. And I'm like, okay, I've just consented her. She's just consented to do it. Well, she's free to withdraw, so I guess so. But it's amazing how just seeing the audio recorder just pretty much halted the whole thing. And that's another problem. When they end up seeing, even when they've consented to it, some of the patients, when they see the audio recorder, they just stop talking. I'm not quite sure why. And I always try to let them know that it's really not about you. It's more about me, and it's more for me because I can't write as fast as you talk. So I need to be able to later on transcribe these things into words. But yeah, that doesn't go down too well with them. But anyway, I've exceeded my time again today. So have a wonderful day, guys. And hopefully the next topic, I definitely want to talk about the whole questionnaire aspect and how doing questionnaires can be a bit problematic for someone without a Nigerian-oriented background, obviously. So, yeah, have a wonderful day, guys, and goodbye.